Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so OlliOlli 2, welcome to Olliwood on the PlayStation 4. We still don't know if this is a PlayStation Plus game. There's a lot of speculation. At this point, it's not. Maybe it will be. Who knows? You played OlliOlli, right?
Yeah, I played the first one to death.
Liked it?
Loved it.
Okay, I did like the first OlliOlli as well, but I didn't play quite enough. My experience was kind of similar to the experience that many of my friends had. They played it for a while, left it, went back and found it way too abrasive to just jump back into. One of my friends threw the towel in immediately after going back, and another one had to do the tutorial again from scratch just to find his bearings, and then loved the game. But I never found the time to play a significant amount more of the first one. But I was fairly comfortable with the knowledge that that game was something that I liked quite a bit but didn't love. But I absolutely love OlliOlli 2. It's just spectacularly good, and the fact that it's possibly going to technically be free on PS Plus. I mean, if that happens, that is a joke. That's crazy. But I mean, I hope it happens because it means that the leaderboards are going to be, fiercely contested. As fiercely contested as they should be, and I'm pretty sure that everyone I know will be playing it relentlessly over the next month at least if that happens. But basically, if you could probably very, very broadly say that the original OlliOlli was kind of like a 2D Skate, and this sequel is kind of like a 2D Tony Hawk's. It's a 2D Tony Hawk's that appears to be modelled on the Tony Hawk's games that I think of as the golden era, which is Tony Hawk 3 and 4. And this means that the real task, once you're good at the game, is to complete every single level in a single combo, because you can now do manuals and reverts, and this obviously makes the game less realistic, but that's reflected in every aspect of it, because you're no longer sort of tricking around in streets, rubbish dumps and whatnot. Here there's a Wild West environment, there's this really garish theme park level, and there's a sci-fi level, and visually it's streets ahead of the first game. The animation's really fluid, and there's just great visual effects, like there's lens flare everywhere, and there's open fires and rain, and there's these booster ramps that sort of trigger firework displays when you trick off them. So presentation-wise, it's a bit of a knockout. It looks less like a sort of like a 16-bit relic, and more like it looks more like a current-gen game shrunk down. So almost like a highly sophisticated port of something, but it still looks really special visually. And although the game doesn't shy away from getting really bastard hard later on, for the most part I think it's a much more accessible game than the original, because landings and grinds appear to be slightly less difficult to execute than they were in the first game. It's only slight, but having dipped back into the original yesterday, that still feels like a really tough ride, whereas this is generally slightly easier. I mean, the levels are easier to complete, and you still unlock each level by completing the previous one. But it's no less difficult because each level still has those 5 challenges, and some of those are ludicrously tough. So I don't think purists are going to have much to moan about here. And one of the smartest things that the game does is that it's really vividly colour-coded, primarily to differentiate sort of grindable surfaces from surfaces that you can manual on. So while trial and error is still a part of it, you can still, if you have really quick reflexes, just react to the levels as you come to them. So for example, in the theme park levels, the floors are all sort of bright baby blue, and the grindable surfaces are all hot pink, and in another zone it's blue and orange. So when you're rushing through the earlier levels for the first time, it felt to me almost like a rhythm action game, because you can often get by just by reacting very, very quickly.
Okay.
There is an absolute ton of content. There's still the pro version of each level that unlocks when you complete all of the challenges, and then there's rad modes once you've done all of those. There's still the genius daily grind, which works perfectly, or so it appears. I mean, it didn't work brilliantly the first time round at launch anyway, because there was leaderboard problems. Spots mode is just still a great. It's just a little chunk of each level. Play for high scores. It's better because there's the more emphasis on sort of on tricks than there were in the first game. And there's loads of other systems in the game and other cool new tricks that I haven't mentioned. So yeah, the game is exciting in ways that the original was not, and even if that game didn't click with you, you have to just at least try the sequel, because I think it's a bit of a sort of a miniature classic, and it's more accessible, and it's not shy about getting fearsomely difficult the deeper in you go. So I honestly, I think it's just tremendous, really.